welcome. You are watching Now Showing and I'm Atika Farooqui. Today the movies we talk about are emotionally uplifting and technically informative. The actor we speak to is the daughter of one of the biggest superstars we have loved and a young director who is a PhD and a lover of forensics and is now a Hindi film director. Bravo! I'm Atika and here we begin. Of course, with the highlights. Shabaash Mithu is a tell-all story of Mithali Raj. It's a biographical drama that every woman must see. Hit, the first case, is a taut, informative thriller worth watching for its unusual story and RajkummarRao. Janhvi Kapoor is a delight to talk to as her film Good Luck Jerry knocks at the box office. Director Sailesh Kolanu on why he chose filmmaking after a PhD and love for forensics. And Salma Agha's daughter Zahrah S Khan talks about the influence of Noor Jahan on her voice. Let's first talk about Shabaash Mithu, that is a biographical film drama made on the life and times of Mithali Raj. It releases in cinema halls this week. Women in sports have always got it rough. They've always got it tough. From battling their neighborhood, their own parental traumas, their pressures and traditions set by ancestors, the sexist world inside and outside, and of course the rules set for commerce that often favors the male, whether as a lead actor or a lead sportsperson. Many fields are still governed by gender politics. This is exactly what director Srijit Mukherjee attempts to address. More than a rags to riches story, Shabaash Mithu is a story of how women find an awakening in a man's world, and that too from the 90s. Her 23-year-long career is riddled with accolades and achievements, including breaking the world record for highest individual test score at the age of 19 and serving as the first Indian captain to lead the country to 2 World Cup finals. Shabaash Mithu tells the story of Mithali Raj and highlights the predicaments and battles of women's cricket in India. It all starts off from the childhood, where director Srijit Mukherjee addresses gender bias in homes. Noori, a boisterous girl in the neighborhood, becomes an angel friend to Mithu and the two smash patriarchy like how, even at that young age. Shorter hair and a smart attitude is what the kids display. A brilliant performance by Vijay Raz adds gravitas to a child's struggle that has given preference over her brother. What stands out is a terrific performance by Taapsee, where she gets into the psyche of Mithali instead of copying her body language or the way she talks and walks. Written by Priya Evan, the cricket is secondary and instead focuses on the touching friendship between the two girls here for a considerable stretch, and that the fight with the invisible and the visible system that works against the women. I must say Mukesh Habra's casting gives us a team peppered with fine performances, a scene stealing Sampa Mandal as Neelu and the other girls who have a history. They come from various social stratas and backgrounds. Someone's father had a tea stall. One was into making leather out of animal hides. She did it until she played cricket. That's the stories we had needed to know. In some parts, though, the film seems long and needed a sharper edit. The songs by Amit Trivedi and the background music is supportive to the theme all the time. It's a biographical film that has tried to stay true to the journey of Mithali Raj instead of adding drama from the creator's own perspective. It's a must-watch for all women. Ultimately, Mithali Raj did change perspectives, and that is a story that warrants a watch on the big screen. Now let's talk about Hit, the first case. Remakes can be a bit difficult to helm. They can either end up being a washed-up version of the original or turn into something even better. In the case of RajkummarRao and Sanya Malhotra's Hit, the first case, the result is quite amazing. Directed by Dr. Sailesh Kolanu, who also directed the original, the plot revolves around police officer Vikram, who is caught up in solving a kidnapping case and also struggles to deal with the demons of his past. The film throws light on mental health and post-traumatic stress disorder. When Vikram's fiancée Neha, that is Sanya Malhotra, goes missing, he realizes that the two cases that he's solving are interconnected. He's thrown into a dark alley of deceit, lies and some unfinished business from his own police force. For most parts of the film, Vikram's journey is not just about hunting down the kidnapper, but also trying to come to terms with his own past. The film's narrative is simple yet complex, and despite the subplots, the director manages to keep you engaged and actually over the seat's edge most of the time. The film's highlight and its biggest strength, though, is the performance of its lead actor, Rajkumar Rao. Raj has delivered a fine performance that's not only nuanced but also is extremely refined. The varied emotions of loss, anger, grief and frustration that he shows as Vikram tries to join the dots in this puzzle are simply amazing. There are scenes where he also shows the vulnerable side of a cop and the toll the job takes on the person. Sanya Malhotra excels in her scene. The issue with Hit is only that the climax does not live up to the pace of the intellectual first 1.5 hours, and the reason of it all becomes a bit underwhelming. If you are a Rajkumar Rao fan, this one is for you. Don't miss it. Janhvi Kapoor has an expressive face and a huge pair of shoes to fill. Sridevi's daughter is getting scripts that tests her acting abilities now. In Anand Rai's Next, she plays a girl from Bihar who's stuck in a drug racket in Punjab. She tells me what are the best things about her life and the not so good aspects too. वैसे थोड़ा मुश्किल है आपको इसमें इमेजिन करना आपके पास जब ये फिल्म आई सो दिस इज अ फिल्म बेस्ड इन बिहार अ गर्ल फ्रॉम बिहार हु इज लिविंग इन पंजाब उसकी ज़िंदगी में ड्रग्स आते हैं उसकी ज़िंदगी में परेशानियां आती हैं बाप का साया उसके सर से हट जाता है बहुत तरह की परेशानियों से वो अकेली लड़की गुजरती है और वो भी इत्तेफाक से बड़ी बहन है घर की व्हाट वाज योर रिएक्शन टू द स्क्रिप्ट
It's still a fun film.
Okay.
And there's a lot of humor and there's a lot of energy in the film, which is what excited me. क्योंकि अगर वो इन हालातों से गुजर रही है, मुश्किल में उलझ रही है और वो एक सीरियस टोनालिटी में होता तो शायद मैं इतनी दिलचस्पी नहीं लेती इस फिल्म में. लेकिन क्योंकि सिद्धार्थ जो हमारे निर्देशक हैं उनका टेक इस फिल्म पे इतना कोकी था और जो ओरिजिनल फिल्म है कोलमावु कोकिला उसमें इतनी कॉमेडी थी तो वो देख के मैं काफ़ी एक्साइट हो गई.
You trained yourself as an actor in Lee Strasberg School of Theatre and Films. What is your biggest learning from learning acting?
Be honest and be in the moment, and nothing is more repulsive. Maybe repulsive is too strong a word, but more irksome than an external performance.
Just a shallow performance.
Or just like a performance in general. To be in the moment and to be honest in the moment is, I think, where the magic happens. Actually, Nawaz sir, who I met very briefly one day, said to me and Ishan, he said, all of the best acting is acting that happens by mistake. वो जो गलती से हो जाता है ना, वहाँ ही जादू होता है.
When you sit down with your father, Mr. Boni Kapoor, what are the conversations that you have now? Now that you're into the film industry, you're reading scripts, and your father has been the producer. Recently, Salman made a statement that, you know, मेरे career में जब बहुत बुरा वक्त था तो बोनी कपूर ने मुझे उठाया था. So, as a professional now, what are the conversations that you're having with a professional like him?
I think that a lot of creative discussions. We love watching movies, discussing movies. I love telling him about how my day's been on set. And he has इतना wisdom है उनके पास, उसने इतना कुछ देखा है अपनी ज़िंदगी में, इतना कुछ किया है कि वो ज्ञान बांटने के लिए हमेशा तैयार रहते हैं. और उनकी कहानी आपको एक बार सुननी चाहिए, because he's seen it all and he's done it all. तो कई बार मैं बस बैठ के सुनती हूँ और उनको बात करने का बहुत शौक है, स्पेशली जब वो अपने दोस्तों के साथ बैठते हैं, रूमी सर, जावेद साहब, शबाना मैम, और उनके जो किस्से हैं वो मतलब आप सुन के चौंक जाओगे कि ऐसे भी फिल्म्स बनते थे, ये फिल्म ऐसी बनी थी, ये इसके वक्त ये हो रहा था. So there's so much to learn. He's been a producer. मैंने देखा है कि जब एक्टर्स प्रोड्यूसर्स की ज़िंदगी थोड़ा मुश्किल करते हैं, डिमांड्स करते हैं, ये वो करते हैं कि प्रोड्यूसर पे क्या प्रेशर्स होती हैं. So I try in whatever way I can to make it as easy as possible.
Wonderful. When I read about you, newspapers and websites and social media, sometimes I think you are under too much pressure of just looking good. Do you ever feel that thing that just people are a little judgmental of looks, especially women?
I do feel like that. I don't just think वो हमारी इंडस्ट्री की प्रॉब्लम है या हमारी जेंडर की प्रॉब्लम है. आई थिंक सोशल मीडिया के बदौलत वो हर इंसान की प्रॉब्लम हो गई है कि वो जो
The filters and
या नो वो जो मतलब एक्सटर्नल चीज़ें जो हैं
yeah.
दिखावट जो है वो बहुत ज़रूरी हो गया लोगों के लिए. और उस चीज़ से मुझे डर लगने लगा है कि हाँ ऑफ कोर्स मुझे ड्रेसअप करने में, मेकअप हेयर सब करने में, इवेंट्स के लिए जाने में, फोटोज पोस्ट करने में बहुत मज़ा आता है. लेकिन अगर वो एक इंसान की ज़िंदगी बन जाती है तो वो बहुत डरावना हो जाता है. सो यू नीड टू know when to switch off. Even when I'm getting papped, wherever I'm getting papped, if I'm in a good mood and I'm feeling good, I think I'm pretty chirpy. But there are days where I'm just like, like I don't know, my stomach's hurting, but I had to go to the gym because I have to look good for an event, or because I'm losing weight for a role, and then I have to do training after, and like someone just told me that the film I wanted to do is now happening with someone, and like you're having a shitty day, and then there are paps saying, Janhvi ma'am, yahan turn karke wave kijiye please, and you know that your tights are too tight and this won't look flattering, and people will say that, oh ye जानबूझ के ऐसे कपड़े पहन रही है, and all of these thoughts rush in your head in a matter of seconds, and then it shows on your face.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they say कि इतनी खड़ूस है, हाई भी नहीं बोल सकती है. So you can't care about these things.
Yeah, you've got into several roles. Like इसमें मैं जो आपके expressions देख रही हूँ, मैं ये expressions नहीं सोच सकती थी कि आप दे सकती हैं. For some reason, लोगों को ये लगता है कि जिसने गरीबी नहीं देखी, वो क्या जाने गरीब लड़की के दिल में क्या चल रहा होगा. ये सही है, ये गलत.
लेकिन वही तो काम है हमारा.
काम है आपका, ओके.
वही तो काम है हमारा. एंड आई अग्री, अगर एक इंसान अपने देश को नहीं जानता, अपने देश के लोगों को नहीं जानता, अगर उसने जिंदगी ना देखी हो, तो वो कनेक्ट कैसे करेगा या कैसे करेगी. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, गरीबी इज अ रिलेटेबल प्रॉब्लम.
True.
It's like objectively it's bad, right? It's a struggle objectively. अगर आप अपने घर पे खाना नहीं डाल सकते, या अगर आपका घर है ही नहीं, तो वो रिलेटेबल प्रॉब्लम है.
Right.
लोगों को लगता है अगर आप 5-star होटल के बेडरूम में रो रहे हो तो वो रोना है ही,
वो रोना है ही नहीं. Exactly.
वो प्रॉब्लम्स है ही नहीं. लेकिन वैसे भी नहीं है. So there are parallels, and just because I've grown up in a more comfortable environment doesn't make it any more or less valid. And I used to have this problem जहाँ मैं कहती थी कि whatever would happen in my life, because people would keep saying, but people are suffering here, people are suffering there. I'd be like, हाँ मेरा problem क्या है? But that's not healthy also. क्योंकि हर इंसान के लिए there will always be someone more privileged than you.
Of course.
There will always be. Then no one has a right to complain. But the point is that सब लोग कोई ना कोई चीज से गुजर, कुछ ना कुछ चीजों से गुजर रहे हैं ना. There's someone more privileged than you. There's someone more privileged than anyone in this room. But does that make the problem less relevant?
So the name of the film is Good Luck Jerry, and there are two sisters, Jerry and Cherry.
Cherry, yeah.
And a mother. And these three women in Bihar, these three Bihari women in Punjab, are left to fend for themselves. Psychologically, in a household setup where there are only two sisters, जो बड़ी वाली होती है वो घर का बेटा बन जाती है. Have you ever related to her character? And how do you feel like being the elder girl of the family?
A little bit. Sometimes you feel like you have to. I mean, I'm not the eldest. Anshula Didi is the eldest. But many times I feel like there are some sacrifices that I'll want to make to ensure that my sister and my father are in a situation that would make us all happy. And like, I've not had to, but I know that if push comes to shove, I would do it. And I think that is an elder sister thing.
Elder sister syndrome.
Yeah, I think so, a little bit. I think that you automatically think that you're kind of the sacrificial lamb a little bit.
And finally, what are the kind of directors you would like to work with?
मुझे comedy चाहिए, मुझे comedy करनी है, मुझे comedy चाहिए, मुझे comedy करनी है. रोहित शेट्टी सर प्लीज़ मुझे कास्ट कर लीजिए, मैं ऑडिशन कर लूँगी, सही से ऑडिशन कर लूँगी. और I really want to work with Karan. I really want to work with Bhansali. So I really want to work with Neeraj Khewan.
मैं बोलने वाली थी,
Yeah.
हाँ. Great. I want to see many more films of yours
Thank
becoming
you.
blockbusters,
Thank
and
you so
I want to see you getting a lot of awards for your performances,
Thank you
Janhvi.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. So taking a break right now, in some time we have a director who is a PhD from Australia and came back to India to make a hit film. After the break. Welcome back. You're watching Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. This week we start talking exclusively and especially with the directors. They are the captains of the ship, that is the film project they're working on. It's their vision that gets translated on screen. Director Sailesh Kolanu did his PhD in Australia and is crazy about forensics. That's how the original Telugu version of Hit, the first case, got made, and now the Hindi version is at the box office. More about this director, who uniquely has the prefix doctor in his name.
I did my undergraduation in optometry from the BITS Pilani University, and uske baad mein I started practicing optometry in Hyderabad. I practiced as an optometrist for 5 years. Before moving to Sydney to do my PhD, I got a scholarship to do PhD at the University of New South Wales in Australia. I moved to Australia and finished my PhD in 2016. So then after that I worked as a scientist. During all this time, writing stories was a hobby. It was a stress buster for me. But then slowly and eventually I started getting attracted. I was drawn into the craft of screenwriting. I learned how to properly write a screenplay. At one point in time I had a really good script on my hands and I wanted to do something with it. So I took a leap of faith. I took a flight from Sydney, landed in Hyderabad, and I met actor Nani from the Telugu film industry, who then incepted the idea that I should direct my own films. So that's when I went back to Sydney again and spent another year learning the craft of direction. I realized that I knew the process of filmmaking right from my childhood because my father was in the film industry as well. He worked as a production manager and he was an employee of Prasad Film Laboratory. So I had this small bits and pieces of filmmaking learnings from my childhood. So all I had to do was integrate them and try to figure out a way how to translate the ideas onto the screen. Then once I was ready, I took the flight to Hyderabad. I came and made my first film, which Nani produced as well. So HIT Telugu was conceived like that. While making HIT Telugu itself, I had the idea of taking this story to a wider audience. I wanted to narrate this to the Hindi audience. So with the success of HIT in Telugu, I had the opportunity to make the film in Hindi now.
Salma Agha's daughter and Bollywood's favourite voice, Zahrah Khan, these days is currently getting all the praise for her songs in the recent hit, Jug Jug Jio. My colleague Vishal Chatkara caught up with Zahrah earlier this week and got her talking about the influence of the legendary singer Noor Jahan on her voice and her latest chartbuster. Aha, Noor Jahan का नाम याद आ गया तो उनके गाने याद आ गए. चांदनी रातें हो चांदनी रातें.
जा रही मैं तेरी होके शिकवे सारे खोके संग ले चली हूँ बीता लम्हा आदतें ये थी जो मेरी हो गई है सारी तेरी कैसे तू कहेगा खुद को तन्हा.
Zara, first congratulations for the super success of two of your big songs from the film Jug Jug Jio. Especially the song Jesse Savan, a real slow burner of a song that stays with you for a long time. Yeah. You know, also this is a song which is also a departure for you from the usual dance songs we hear in Zahrah Khan's voice. Correct. How often do you get to sing songs about heartbreak and broken relationships?
Well, this was the first one, to be honest. But this is something I recorded about 2 years back, before the pandemic. And you know, obviously the shoot and everything took time, and then by the time it released, tab tak bahut sare dance numbers aa chuke the. But definitely, I think these are the kind of songs which are very close to my heart, and I really hope that I do get to sing more songs like this.
I watched your 2019 short film titled Coach that is
Yes.
currently streaming on Z5.
Yes.
You are a chameleon of an actor who actually became this girl from Punjab named Gurri.
Yes.
What is stopping Zahrah Khan to accept more acting assignments?
Firstly, thank you for taking out the time and watching it. It's a film which is very close to my heart because it's based on teenage wife abandonment. And it's not that I'm not accepting roles at the moment. It's just that, I want to pick and choose wisely, something which I know I can do justice to. I had completed a film with Shabana Azmi ji also, which is directed by Vikas Khanna. So that's also going to be out soon. I'm playing Shabana ji's daughter in it. But yeah, I'm looking out for things which are, very performance oriented. So hopefully, along the way, kuch चीजें आती जाएंगी, and hopefully you'll see me in the acting light more frequently as well.
Your mother has been part of some of the very successful and popular songs like Fiza Bhi Hai Jama Jama or Dil Ki Arma, to name a few.
Yes, yes.
One song of your mother that often come for your rescue with your singing, and the one inspires you the most?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I love her song Jhoom Jhoom Baba, though I know people love Fiza Bhi Hai Jawan Jawan and Dil Ki Arma. But my favorite song of hers is Jhoom Jhoom Baba, which is by Bhapida. I think it's such a cool track of its time. And it is something I really hope I get to remix one day or like recreate and sing. Yes.
Because your attitude and approach toward the music is different from your mother, Salma Agha.
Mom's voice and my voice, in a very strange way, is different also. But then obviously, kahin na kahin thode cheezein hai jo match bhi karti hai. Maybe sometimes the tone, but I sound a lot like my Masi. My Masi also, has learned singing and all of that, but she never pursued it as a career. But mom was somebody who was always into Indian classical music. And for me, I was very inclined towards Western. That was something I very much enjoyed a lot. So while growing up, even though there is one singer which I have always looked up to, she obviously, I'm sure you know, Madam Noor Jahan. She was amazing. तो उनकी जो गायकी थी मुझे बहुत पसंद थी, and I still listen to her songs. But apart from her, I've always been inclined towards Western music. So I think that ways me and mom have been a little different. जो ना मिल सके वही बेवफा, ये बड़ी अजीब सी बात है, जो चला गया मुझे छोड़कर, वही आज तक मेरे साथ है, जो न मिल सके वही बेवफा.
That's all. Hope you liked what we had to say. For those who are surprised about Sushmita Sen and Lalit Modi finding love and Bradley Cooper and Huma Abedin finding love, remember how difficult it is to make careers, raise children and still look strong and happy all the time. So, be happy for them, not surprised. Every soul needs love. Take care of yourself and see you next week. Till then, ta-da!